birthday! Alright, hey, look at that. Nice 680 in Dodge. Alright, happy birthday, you old pig. Woo! Still does fine. Nice little car, nice little daily driver here. Well, hey, welcome back to the channel. It's been a little bit, been a busy fall. I work in air freight. The holiday season is a busy time of the year for me. So it's been a little bit, time to do another video. Today we have my 2016 Ford Focus. We're gonna do a 100,000 mile review on this thing. Here we go. I had this 2016 Focus ST for a few years. The pros and cons, the issues that I've had with it, which have really been minimal stuff. It's been a really, really good car, surprisingly good car. Hope you enjoy the video. What we have here is a fine specimen of a daily driver 2016 Focus ST. It's been a darn good car. Adult driving this thing for the most part, but I do open it up every once in a while, let her rip, you know, just to keep the juices flowing and blow the cobwebs out of it. Is that even still a thing? Do they even do that on these new cars? I don't know. Just rolled over 100,000 miles. I bought it with 8,600 miles on the clock. This is a prior salvage car. Sure wish I would have gotten a before picture. Literally every body panel was destroyed on this car. This appeared to be a rollover from what I first saw of it, and there was not much left. The guy who resurrected this car did one heck of a good job. We got one little bit of hanger rash right here on the bumper. I mean, if you notice this vertical scratch right here, what would cause that? I don't know. Maybe a freaking speaker vibrating off of the shelf up there and falling down right there. Can you believe I got that lucky it didn't land on the freaking hood? Yeah, that speaker is now bolted to that shelf up there. So that won't happen again. Dang it. For the most part, this thing is very stock. Just little tiny mods to the thing. One of the first things I did, fins, vents, actuator, whatever you want to call that down there, has a movable vane in there and apparently helps regulate oil temperature. The first thing I did is went and disconnected that in the open position so I never have to worry about that failing. Make my own little brackets for the license plate. I think the factory one is up here in the grill, and it's just it's funky, you know, and it blocks the flow, and I don't know why Ford did it that way. So I just did a couple little aluminum brackets there, bolted them right to the fascia. No big deal, works out real good. You can see the racing stripes have been eroding. I don't think this is quality. I think this is Nebraska roads in the wintertime from the gravel and crud that they put down. I got a couple chips in the windshield, a couple chips, of course, in the paint on the bumper. They always look better in the video, but it's, you know, it's I wouldn't call it rough. I'd call it seasoned. 2016, 10 years old. I got a little bit of the fading going on the top of the headlights here. This car is parked in the garage at night, so the sun is on it all day. The paint's holding up real nice, but I'm pretty sure this entire car was repainted from the guy who did the repair. Like I said, every body panel was destroyed on the thing. Actuators for the headlight, whoop-de-whoops, whatever you call that, those are still working in both headlights. Have not had to replace any bulbs anywhere on the car, so that's been great. About a year ago, I had this issue in the front, got that little whoop-de of a curve at the end of your driveway, and of course that torques the whole chassis. I was getting a thunk up here in the front end. The strut attach hardware had come loose. All I had to do was tighten those down, and that resolved that. You know, related to the accident, maybe, probably. Pretty common engine here, the 2-liter turbo, direct injected, real small turbo, very responsive on the throttle. There's virtually no lag to it, so it's, you hop on it, it's there. One of the first things that, again, that I looked into before I even bought the car, the intake. I had to have my Turbski sound, you know, the Mountain Tune, there's the Cobb, there's a couple different manufacturers, I think MDMP or something like that. They were just stupid expensive back then, so I made my own. That's all just aluminum. I know it's not the best, smoothest, prettiest angle. That was my own design there. Worked out just fine. A little 9-inch cone filter. Everything has been great there. Direct injection engines, susceptible to carboning up the intake valves. This engine has not had that issue. 100,000 miles. I change the oil every 4,000 miles. No over, no under. And so far, I've had zero issues with carbon-related misfires. Right around 60,000 miles, I did have one spark plug went out. I changed them all. Just went with OEM style. I did have the battery go bad. Changed that out once. Water outlet housing, thermostat housing, start leaking. And that is an O-ring in there. You can't buy the O-ring. You have to buy the whole assembly. I was able to change that whole thing very carefully without removing the intake manifold. So it can be done. It's tedious, it's tricky. I did delete the sound composer. That is one of the dumbest things a manufacturer could ever do, in my opinion. I just fabricated my own little block-off plate. Real simple deal there. Bolted on, made a little boss for an O-ring. I put a Boomba 50/50 turbo bleed valve on it. Bleed valve, what do you call that thing? Not a wastegate. Blow-off valve. None of these are any performance mods. If anything, all they do is alter the sound of the car. And consistently, I'll do 5-weight 30 in the wintertime. Summertime, I switch to 10W30. Does not burn any oil. Everything has been great. The worst thing we had to do was change out this cap for the windshield washer. Can you believe it? That's it for the engine and drivetrain. No changes to the transmission. I still have the standard shifter kit in it. Nothing else spectacular. Anyway, moving on to the rest of the car. I've done one set of brakes on this car, and I just got the ceramic pads. I didn't even change the rotors yet. Those are still original. Rims are a big topic. You love them or you hate them. Those are off of a Ford Escape, give or take the same vintage, 2016 or so. And the reason I changed those, I had the OEM wheels on the thing, the snowflakes. I love those wheels. But man, for the Omaha roads, it was just torture in this car. And in fact, I bent 2 of the wheels. Gnarly potholes, had some nice little kinks in there. So I said, okay, we'll fix that. This thing does ride really rough. It's got a very, very tight suspension. I went 1 inch smaller diameter on the rim, a little fatter tire to give me a little cushion. 245, 45/17s. These are the Falcons. I'm not so happy with these guys. They have an awful lot of road noise to them. I just wanted something basic and simple and reliable. Never did plan on getting all crazy with this thing. I just wanted a nice car that I could run and drive anywhere and not have to worry about it. Rear wheel bearings. That is a common issue on the Ford Focus. All trim levels, all styles, all of them. Rear wheel bearings don't last worth a crap. I replaced the rears on this with the Precision brand, again from O'Reilly's. So far, those have been doing really great. Let's move on to the interior. Again, completely unmodified, all is well. WeatherTech floor mats. I'm coming around, they're okay. Just seems like your floor ought to be soft, not hard plastic. I don't know, whatever. One thing that bothered me about the climate control system, HVAC system, is that in the summertime, a hot day, you turn on the air conditioning, this thing automatically defaults to recirculate. And, you know, I'm a mechanic, I'm a grease bag, I get dirty, I smell at the end of the day, okay? And I would rather not regurgitate and swallow that smell during my drive home. You cannot turn off the recirculate when it's hot out with the air conditioning on. So I set it in the normal intake fresh air setting, unplugged the recirculation valve underneath the dashboard. You can definitely tell the air conditioning is not as efficient. At least I'm not, you know, smelling my own BO at the end of each day on my way home. And my guess is because of the underhood heat and the heat that is exposed to the cowl coming off of this engine, that's why they defaulted to recirculate when the air conditioning is on. You know, not a big deal, not a reliability issue. Just makes it smell funny. Again, all stock, still got the factory stereo layout. Done nothing else to the interior, all original lighting. I changed the passenger seat. Wife couldn't stand how the factory seat snuggles you in and basically sucks you into that seat and doesn't want to let you out. They need about 3 or 4 different pull handles in here to get your ass out of these seats. So I put a just basic Ford Focus seat in this thing. So the adjustments are still the same. It just doesn't have all of the lumbar and wing support there and all that. Much more comfortable seat. She's young. She's only 27, so I don't know why she was complaining about it being so hard to get out of that seat. But anyway, regardless, got to keep mama happy. Man, the problem is they make about 20 different variants of the trim and the color and the design on these dang Focus seats. So I've tried to find another one like this, and it's super hard to figure out. So if you know how to identify these seats by the designs, please let me know so I can try and find an exact copy for the driver's side. Complete factory driver's seat. It is still holding up nice, although the airbags did deploy. So these seats were repaired / rebuilt and reupholstered. It looks factory, so I'm not sure how or exactly what the guy did. You would not ever know that these airbags were blown in those seats. Yeah, see, I don't know. I think the seat's pretty comfortable, man. It sucks me in. Yeah, it's a little hard to get out of, but it's not bad. Driver controls, I mean, everything is very comfortable. Everything is right, accessible where you need it. Heater controls, all that. Everything is a very nice layout. I don't have any complaints at all about this thing. Yeah, just over 100,000, 518. One video that really put my channel on the map was the shift mechanism. These bushings up here underneath the console. I'll get you a better detail of those. And I'm sorry, there were, man, a bunch of people in the Focus community who struggled with those bushings, trying to figure out why their transmissions wouldn't shift. First, third, or fifth, the transmission would not go into gear. And what it would do, sitting in neutral, you push in the clutch, you put it in first gear, and then you would hold it there for a second, then you would hear a click, and then it would stay in gear. And then you could drive on first. Second was fine. Third would do the same. You would put it in, hold it, and then it'd go click, and then it would stay. And it's just a little bushing up underneath here that pops out of its holder, and that is still holding great. I have not had to touch that at all. I have a question for you fellow Focus owners. If you look through the windshield at the seats, look at the angle. But it's like they're both angled out this way. Especially that driver's seat. You can see how far out those seats are tilted. And it just doesn't seem right. Let me know in the comments. What does your car look like? One more little thing on the interior. It drove me nuts the first day I hopped in this car. The freaking headrests in the back. Even though this car has a backup camera, call me old school, I still turn my ass around and look behind me when I'm backing up. Those headrests blocked everything. So those were one of the other first things to go. The audio system. Of course, have removed the factory Sony subwoofer setup. Added my own auxiliary amplifier. There have been a number of people who have been real confused on these things and how do you add an extra amp to your system. Really simple. You can't remove this amp. That needs to stay in there. I believe this uses serial data to communicate with the infotainment system. So you retain the factory Sony amp. You tie the power outs for the audio system to the speakers. You tie that to your line out converters. Rear and the front right there, cheapo from Walmart. They work just fine. These line out converters have a power in feature from the amplifier that generates a power out remote to the amp. Power comes right off your battery terminals into the line out converters, back to the remote. It's a really slick deal. That gives you left, right, front, rear. I did retain the center tweeter up in the front dash. That is just as it is off of the amplifier. You do not use the subwoofer output. If you get a 5-channel amp, you can just split the inputs and drive your subwoofers off of the 5th channel. So that has worked out really nice. I just run a pair of 12s and it sounds pretty darn good and has nice adjustability. And of course, you still retain the Apple CarPlay, all of the features, the bells and whistles, all of that stuff. Just add a higher fidelity. Okay, this is one I've been wanting to try for a while. TikTok hack where you take a DA sander, you just drop it right down here, let her rip and it'll knock all the dust loose and you suck it up with a vacuum. That looks so sweet. That's gonna be so satisfying if this actually does something. Here we go. Got our vacuum here. We got our little DA with some 80 grit on there. Give me something good. Please tell me this is gonna work. Well, that don't do shit. Busted. Okay, driver's seat. But this is driving me nuts. You're going down the road, especially in the ST. It has the tight suspension. You hit your bumps, you're shifting, whatever, and you hear that. That drives me crazy. I'm gonna find that. If you just take the seat adjuster and just pull up on it, it'll go away, but of course then your seat is unlocked. If you move it forward one click, it won't do it. So it's something to do with having the seat all the way back. It's that aft adjusting slot. Let's see what we can find. This is a pretty cool little setup you got here going on here, Ford. Right there, when you pull up on the lever, you have 2 pins. There are 3 pins total. The middle one does not move. That one is stationary, but it's the forward and the rear pin that lock and unlock your adjuster. The rear pin is not letting itself all the way down. So probably something to do with one of those 2 binding. I think we're just going to try and shoot some oil on that and see what happens. I guess it's been a while since I've looked at seat adjuster technology in cars. They used to be basic and not complicated with multiple links and parts and pieces. They were like 2 or 3 piece adjusters. So, you know, that's fine. I'm going to clean that thing up, blow it off real good, get all the crud out of it, give it some lube. We ought to be good. It'll be fine, right? Oh, this was always the worst. Dude, it's quiet. Driving down my home street, it's so quiet. Like this corner, it always clunk right here. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So yeah, just a little bit of lube on those pins is all it took. Incredible. So much better. Let's see, going up the driveway, I got the curb on the end of the driveway. Let's see. Oh yeah. Oh, that's so nice. So happy. We do have a little bit of rust starting to come through. I've already touched that one up once. Same thing on the other fender. I'm gonna guess, knowing again, you know, since this was a prior salvage car, I'm sure that these are aftermarket. They would have to be. I'd be really surprised if a guy bought OEM fenders. I got rust bubbling through right in here, around the quarter. So that really kind of stinks. Same token, I'm not surprised. It's on both sides. Right in here as well. This looks clean right now. For all I know, this could be filled with Bondo. A little bit back in here. I do keep this thing really clean. I wash it way more than the average guy would. A combination of washing it by hand, and I do the drive-throughs with the undercarriage spray. The rest of the undercarriage, everything is nice and clean. No rust. That's all good. It's only on those body panels. So tinted windows all the way around. Number 1 for looks. Number 2, keeping the sun out, protecting the interior. AVS window visors on there. They fit real nice. Those are just self-stick. The spoiler, I've left that at the factory angle. I know there's a kit where you can buy spacers, rake that guy up a little bit. I'm okay with it. You know, that's fine. It fits the car good. Biggest complaint I have about this is whenever you go through the car wash, or even you wash the car, and you get this water constantly dripping down. Hey, heck, you can see the stain right there. The water drips down out of that for about a year after you wash the car. You know, if that's one little design change Ford could have made, that's so minor, not a big deal. Onto the back fascia though. You'll notice this is a little bit different. This poor guy was involved in a very minor rear collision. Scuffed up my bumper a little bit. popped her loose over here. Of course, I had these screws holding that together, and I need to get this cleaned up. But man, I tell you what, a rear bumper for these things, that is expensive. Painted my little reflectors black. The rear lower valence, of course, that was mangled pretty bad in that collision. So I just left that off of there. You know, if I didn't have the bumper sticking out right here, the bumper reinforcement, it'd be kind of cool. Maybe I could fabricate just a little piece to go straight across, maybe? I don't know. That exhaust is looking jankety. I did do the muffler delete. You can tell by the welds and the rust, I did not use high quality materials. Yeah. No performance gains again, strictly audio related to make her sound nice. I'm very happy with it. The single exhaust, again, it's weird. All stock suspension, haven't changed anything there. Sway bar links, those went bad a couple years ago. That's really it for the undercarriage. Again, no other changes down here. Overall, definitely a doer-againer. I love this car. It's been really good. Maintenance-wise, it's been really good. It doesn't really get any special care outside of any other car that I have. I keep it clean, I maintain it, change the oil. As soon as there's something wrong, I take care of it, and it's been very, very good. Let me know, how's your Focus? Do you have the carbon issues in your engine? Carbon-related misfire? How often do you change your oil? How's your interior holding up? Any leaks? Let me know. Thanks for checking out the video. Hope you all have a great day. And most importantly, does it do a burnout? Of course it does a burnout. It's a front wheel drive. These are what, 250 horsepower, instant power, instant torque, boost is right away. Yeah, it does a burnout. I'm not gonna waste my tires on a burnout. Hang on.